You're listening to What No One Told Us, a podcast about the stuff we carry, the stories we live by, and the things we wish someone had said out loud. Real conversations, no quick fixes, just a space to pause, reflect, and maybe feel a little less alone. So whether you're on a walk, making the school run, hiding with a cuppa, or on the long drive to work, settle in. We are glad you're here.
Hey Lloyd, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, very good, thank you. Long weekend.
You were in Napier for the weekend?
Yeah. I went to Napier to see my son play football, and funny enough, representing Tauranga City, your area, and they ended up winning the tournament, which was impressive. For um, yeah, it was a nice weekend.
Have you ever been to Napier before?
Yeah, I've been a couple of times. Well, actually, to the last year for the same tournament, and before as well. Yeah, it's a nice. I love this. I love that place. It's quite tidy and nice.
And how did you celebrate? With the team or?
Oh no, I just hugged my son, and then he went with the team back to Tauranga, and I think they celebrate through the night as well.
How does that work? He lives in Auckland with you, but he plays for Tauranga City.
Yeah, he's been staying with Santiago. Every time he had to play a friendly game in preparation, but he's been training on his own here in Auckland. So he went to Tauranga probably 4 or 5 times to play friendly games, and then they show up to the tournament. Yeah, it is only because just in a specific tournament that he was invited as a guest.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, so it's fine. Yeah, but yeah, that was a nice experience.
Awesome.
How was yours? Your weekend?
Mostly packing and working. So it wasn't as nice as yours, but we were getting ready to move house. So
Are you getting rid of things, or you're getting you're packing everything
yeah,
from?
that's an interesting thing. I would like to get rid of as much stuff as I possibly could, but there are other members of my family that I think prefer to hang on to things. So there is a struggle there, but it's okay. I think the fact that we're downsizing our house is letting go of a big thing already, and I feel really good about that in terms of you know um, not needing certain things anymore, I guess.
Hmm.
Being in a different stage in my life where stuff doesn't really equal happiness.
Good start.
So I'd much rather just have a few possessions that I really value and give me a lot of joy, and not a lot of other stuff. I think that's a really nice way to, it feels really light. And so, moving into a smaller house, much more modest, not as modern, still in a reasonable area, feels lighter, feels more aligned to um, where I am at this stage in my life.
That's cool.
And plus we also have a very important goal, that we've wanted to achieve by doing this, and clearing the mortgage, and having that weight off our shoulders hasn't really sunk in yet. I'm sure it will in time, you know. So,
Is it called like financial freedom?
well, if I look at the budget, it still looks pretty tight even without the mortgage. But my wife and I we're trying to restart our careers in completely different areas. So we're starting to build our incomes again, and that's taking some time. And
Hmm.
having less to pay or less overheads will help us to continue that. I'm going to start a degree next year to get my counseling, my bachelor in counseling, so that I can work as a counselor.
Oh wow.
And that's going to mean that I'm going to be a student. And the rule of thumb is, student life is generally pretty modest in terms of not a lot of income, but I have a couple of jobs as well, so I still have some income as well, and my wife has some income, so we're living very, very modestly, very, very modestly, and even without the mortgage. So I wouldn't say financial freedom. What is that anyway? Do you have financial freedom?
I just, oh, I don't know. I don't know, pursuing freedom regardless of the type of freedom. If it is financial or any other area of freedom. I'm trying to pursue that. And talking about that, I made a call last week regarding freedom. And the job that I have started 3, 4 months ago, I decided to quit gracefully.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, and back again with no job. I mean, I didn't have that job before, but back again on how I was before having this job that I started in beginning of June, I think. We started the training to be a flight attendant, and then I think I've done around 90 flights. But
Nine,
I
nine,
decided, yeah, 90,
oh,
yeah,
wow, that's a lot. In how many months?
2, 3. I think that somebody was telling me that in a year that people normally do around 500 flights,
Wow.
which
That's
is a lot. But I decided to make the decision by when I realized that I wasn't that that there is a roster or a type that controls your life completely, and I wasn't able to attend the things that I've chosen before having this job, including the podcast, about including some other things that I'm doing. And I felt like I had to choose. So I've chosen to go back to the things that I created. So I had to sacrifice income, which it might not look like financial freedom, but it looks like other type of freedom. So now I'm starting. It's not starting again, but I continue what I started before having the other job, and yeah, keep maturing in what I'm doing, and also wait for the opportunities to come that they will to create something on for myself.
it sounds like you're really comfortable with that decision.
Well, it was funny because the day I resigned, I didn't know that I was gonna resign that day when I woke up. But I have like a big week with a lot of I had conflict, a personal conflict, and bit of arguments around, and so there was something not going very well around. But I wasn't aware of things that were happening, and so I sank into understanding what was happening, and I realized that most of the things that were happening is because I created things in my life, and then I left them because I was going to work. But I never completed anything. I just left them. So when you create things where with your energy and then you leave, your energy is still there, and you actually need to look after those places. Otherwise, those places will let you know that you left them. and and yeah, so I felt like I needed to come back. And it wasn't that difficult to make that call because I love what I'm doing, what I created. So and I said, well, I quit gracefully because yeah, definitely I explained exactly this to my employer, and obviously there was an understanding. I'm not the first person that does that, but there was an understanding as well because I was clear of what I was doing as well. And so I'm very happy, and I'm very happy again on having this again challenging situation, all right? Of having little projects everywhere, and maybe not a lot of income, but if any income sometimes. But again, there's a sense of freedom that I'm holding, and that's what's keep me motivated and happy actually. Looking after my health, my well-being, and the little and the projects that I'm taking on board, including this podcast. Yeah, which is quite very important.
Well, congratulations on making that decision. It can't have been easy for, I mean, when I say it can't have been easy, I don't imagine it would be easy for a lot of people to make that decision. However, you seem to make it comfortably. Would you be able to have made that decision in the past so comfortably?
Oh, not really. I would have been. The thing about this, the job was nice. I had fun. I met a lot of people, and I fit in very nicely, and I got attached to people. And I think in the past I would have been attached to that, and also to not being that truth to myself, because that job would have allowed me to justify that I got an income and I'm safe. So that would have justified to stay there. But what happened with the staying there, what I found that it was already happening to me, I was getting unhealthier again, not sleeping well, not eating that well either. So yeah, losing a little bit of all the things that I've chosen to do. So also, the job was in quite an unhealthy environment, and I could feel how my body was reacting to all of that, to be in the air for a long time. And then I thought that in my free time, I could dedicate my time to my projects, but the reality was that my headspace wasn't there. So once I wasn't working, my headspace wasn't ready to tackle any of the things that I'm involved in. So yeah, in that sense wasn't a hard decision, to be honest. So I'm very happy. I'm very happy also to have the experience of doing that job. That's something that I always wanted to try, because I've been in the airline industry for a long time, and that was a piece that I haven't tried. So I done it now. I got a couple of photos to back it up.
And yeah, now that you've done it, you've had the experience. So I guess you can not have any regrets. Is that true?
No, I don't have absolutely any regret, and 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 I know that the people that I met, I have access to them if I want to keep relationships. So also, I understand more about me as well, by doing this job and making another call about my what I prioritize these days, and it was very clear once I dug into it. So yeah, it's just a very nice feeling as well, and that I'm following a good place in my intuition and my heart. The brain would have probably chosen a different path, but not interested in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's good. Yeah, and also, well, very grateful to be able to do that, and very grateful for everybody that I met and everybody that understand what I'm saying and what I'm on the decisions I make. Which I also will say that if we make decisions from our heart and we communicate properly, any decision is welcome to everyone. It's just a matter of communicating properly and from the heart. When we make decisions like that, they're always welcome.
So you've sacrificed a steady income in replace of having freedom to do more things that are really important to you.
And following up on what you said about on your wife about taking new well, doing new things in life and new activities, things that you actually need to generate the environment and generate the context, which takes time. So that's actually where I am as well. Everything that I'm doing takes time. I I changed completely what I'm dedicating my time to. So it takes time, yeah. And one of the words that came to me lately, and I done it in the last time I I had a little bit of connection with myself, is one word is patience and the other word is trust. So in this new in this new stage, I'm gonna use those two words as well on as a reminder, right? To be patient and trust.
Does that help for you? Because you know, in my situation, I do have days where I wonder if I'm doing the right thing. Do you ever have moments like that now that you've made this decision? And how do you respond?
Well, I am. The thing is that my days in and this is where I want to be normally is that I want to be in a place where uh, my brain doesn't take over. So uh, every day I try to start the day without my thoughts or not from my thoughts. And then yes, I do have a to-do list and I do have things to do, but I just got connected to what's better for me to do during the day. And if it is a day full of action, there will be a day full of action. But if a day with less action, it will be less action. And when I'm connected to that, looks like the days are happening in a perfect way without forcing much what needs to happen. And I'm a very good believer on that. That when you have the time and you have the freedom to actually sink into yourself and into your intuition and into how the day feels, what energy are you carrying, you actually entertain your day with the things that are the best for you on that day. So it doesn't feel like an effort and it doesn't feel like you're working or you're doing something very special because it's so natural. It takes time. I've been practicing that. It's really, and I know I do things because at the end of the day, I normally write down what I've done during the day, just as a reminder to my brain when it says you haven't done anything today. And I normally have quite a significant list of things, including meaningful conversations. They are included in that list. Sometimes a conversation is not a doing for. I used not to count those things as productive, or connecting with someone, yeah, or with something. Those are very important things as well that we do during the day, and yeah.
Do you not
So,
worry about money?
hmm?
Do you not worry about having enough?
Oh, when I made the decision at some point to sell my house, and I was lucky to have a house because I have a previous life as well that included all of that, and has its toll. I just pay for it as well, and in the with my health as well. So I had a little bit of money in the bank. Well, not in the bank. I'm investing. It's not enough money to live my life with, so I need to generate an income at some point. But I've been using a little bit of that money for all this time, which is I don't know if it is gutsy or not, but I'm lucky I have it, and I spent it on my peace of mind and peace and.
Well, some might say that's a good investment.
I really think it is. Yeah, and so far I had very good experiences that will probably hopefully make me live my life have a better experience in my life with life in general, which is probably I don't think there's any price I can put on that. At the moment, I cannot find any price to beat living a life full of freedom and choice. If I run out of money, but I don't know what run out of money would mean.
I'm just thinking about my situation. Maybe our situation's a little bit different in this respect because your children are older and have moved on. My children are still at home with me, and I guess the money thing for me does present a couple of issues from time to time, having to start again. Sure, I'm more on purpose, and I'm doing things that are much more aligned with what lights me up. But there isn't a sustainable or a big enough income to be able to live in a way we may have lived in the past, where the kids had more things or more holidays or bigger house, or so I still feel a sense of pressure, which I'm pretty sure is all internal. When I say internal, I mean I think I need to be doing or providing those things.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, the kids may have to go without certain things, and there's a part of me that shows up and bullies me for that, not being able to provide. Can you relate to that at all? I guess your kids are at a different stage.
Oh, my kids are at a different stage. I still provide. We still got a share account with Andrea, my ex-wife, and we have we have money for them. I pay for food. I pay for things. All of that is still somehow there. Of course, it's a different stage in life. They are teenagers, and they are earning their own money as well. So it's a bit lighter in the financial pressure that I have. But I feel that what I can give to them more than anything at the moment is having a happier dad. And happier means like a dad that is more solid, more bold, is more curious, searching for things, it's looking, having experiences, more approachable, I guess, healthier, all of that. I feel that yeah, it's something that I could give to my kids at the moment. Maybe I can't. Well, I can't take them for a big trip. Oh, maybe I can, but what I'm saying is that every time that I decide all my decisions about spending money, I ask myself these two questions. One, the decision of doing this will actually make my life richer, will give me something for some experience that will enhance my life, and also, or am I helping someone? So
Mm-hmm.
those are my questions when I need to decide if I'm going to spend money or not.
Sure.
And yeah, so once I get to answer those questions, I just do it. But yeah, and I stop worrying about the future of money because I can't keep thinking about future stuff that I have no idea.
Sure.
And the reality is that I got to 50, I'm gonna turn 56. And somehow I always done what I wanted to do. So why I'm gonna run out of money now if I done 56 years of this? My parents were not rich, but I always had whatever I needed. So I'm very grateful, and I think that life is gonna keep providing. If we're doing what we believe is good and what we is actually in ourselves.
And how do we know when we're not doing or not aligned in that way?
I think it feels in your body, and it was very obvious on when I made the decision of leaving my last job. My body was telling me all over, I don't like this.
Can you share an example, like an actual physical example of how that was showing up for you in your body?
Oh, it was first of all, I started to have again some, how you call it? Well, some part of the skin start getting very itchy.
Oh,
Uh,
like eczema or something like that?
I get some things like that. Also, I started waking up in the middle of the night, which never happened before. So very irregular sleeping. Um, also, um, and also from my heart, I started missing out on things that I really love and connections. And so I started to feel like, oh, I'm not being authentic with what I really like. And so I was forcing myself out, going to work and isolated myself. because it's a natural thing of that job that you become isolated. So I could feel that. I will justify it and I will do it, but I could feel it. And it carries a sadness, all right? And there's always a ways of going through that and justify what you're doing, right? And then come out on the other side like, oh, I'm doing it because of this and that. I'm quite good at that as well. There was a moment that it hit home and very, very strongly, and I had to make the call. And I said, stop this, Diego. Stop justifying things that don't feel well and don't feel good.
So you decided to quit your job. I mean, you noticed you were feeling this way, so there were physical manifestations of not being in a good space,
Yes.
and you attributed that to the job.
Well, the job has a big component of your hours are determined by a roster that you have no control of, or very little control. So that was a big, big, big part of what I conquered before that I was losing. And at some point I thought that would have been important, and also will have free time where I can actually recover those connections that I couldn't do it. And I could feel that lack of freedom that going away, and the suffering and the sadness coming in, and the justifications, and also the bad habits creeping in, not eating well and justifying behaviors because I'm tired, or justifying behaviors because I'm unhappy. All of that mechanism, slowly starting to come back. Not good.
At any stage, did you think about an alternative other than just quitting entirely?
Oh, the only thing it could have saved me there is to work less hours. There's a part-time opportunities, but the company is not offering that randomly. There is a huge. You need to wait until there is an opportunity, and then there is a big queue in a lot of people that want to do that. So that would have been an option for me for a while, and I decided to quit now because I couldn't sustain doing what I was doing.
I can relate to that. I have the time at the moment to be able to study and to be able to do what we're doing now with the podcast, to be able to spend time with my kids and be more present as a father, to work on my new career, a new business, a new way. I still need to provide a certain level of income to be able to sustain the family unit in terms of basic needs, food and a shelter, clothes, rah, rah, rah. So I need to work part-time. It's kind of a trade-off, I guess. And I have a hospitality job that I I can do because I've done that for a long time. So I'm qualified, potentially overqualified for this particular role, but I don't know if I could do that full time. That would be a game changer for me. So I'm just thinking about, others in similar situations that may be experiencing some of those physical things, or maybe noticing elements of their life that are not going so well. And maybe there is a sense of not living aligned to what's really important, or you're defined by the job. People who have really high stressful jobs, and they have to spend a lot of time in the office, and then when they leave the office they're still thinking about work. And maybe these people are earning a good amount of money, right? So they have built a certain life around them, but they're not happy. And how do they unwind that to get to a spot where they can feel a little better without such an extreme move of quitting overnight like you did? Which is very brave, I have to say. It's very brave. And it may strike some as being reckless. Can I say that? For them, it may be reckless. I mean, I'm not saying that your move was reckless, but for them, that may be perceived as reckless. I couldn't do that, you know.
Yeah, I don't need I don't need others to tell me that. My brain also says that all the time.
Yeah.
And it did it before. And like, who do you think you are? Um, you know, you're gonna pay for this, and are you sure what you're doing? But I done it before. I done it before, and I quit jobs before. Lately, because I was a very loyal employee for a long time, and a loyal everything, and I still are, but I'm loyal now to different impulse that is me, it's my internal desire and what is in my intuition and my boss that I always said is my little Diego. So I changed my boss and I changed my priorities. So now, I mean, I'm very grateful for people, and I also I hold a big degree of integrity of what I do with in general. But now I'm not looking for to belong or to please or to be part of something. As
You didn't arrive there overnight, though. How did you get there? How did you get to that place of not wanting to please or
Oh, because I found that it didn't it never work. It doesn't exist to keep people happy or not happy. People are not happy or not happy because of your actions. Nobody's looking at you. There's nothing to prove to anyone. If there's anything to prove to anyone, is to be there and show up healthy and in peace and beautiful. That's the only thing that you could probably offer to other people. Not to show up with a great job and a nice car and a good house. That doesn't do anything. I'm putting that simple example, but what I know that makes a difference is to show up in a very sort of inspiring and healthy way. And so I've decided that that wasn't working for me before. And today, to these days, it's work in progress. All right, it's not that 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 I show up and everybody feels the inspiration but what I'm saying is that at least it's working for me, and that's and maybe for my kids or the people I that are surround me. So I'm happy about that.
we almost overnight decide to leave our jobs and join a hippie commune and go off the grid? It's an extreme example, but it can be an unsettling process to all of a sudden be in a space where you're not the certain person anymore. At least that was my experience when I sold my business that I had, for 7 years, and then, hospitality for 25. I don't think I would have coped as well as I coped during that transition period had I not done a little bit of personal work prior to that event, getting to know myself a bit better.
I
So,
think
and along the way, I think I picked up some tools. So I think it's healthy. It's important to mention that, you know, making those decisions, it might be better off from a place of a little bit more awareness about what it is that you actually want to do, or if it's not this, what is it? And some tools to be able to manage that process. That because I mean it can't have always been easy for you to along the years to navigate from a previous life of being married, a corporate role, earning a good salary, building a life around that, of things, of houses and cars and holidays. And then it's not that you just landed the Diego that you are now, just as the same as I didn't land as me after that transition. or the person I am now at this point. That was a process.
And it's very necessary to live what you lived, and to have done what you've done, and to be confronted by the insatisfaction or the suffering or the being uncomfortable for a while. And then the difference is that instead of continuing with that uncomfortability or that being that sense of unhappiness, one day to say, okay, I had enough of this. Um, that's not true that we have to live the life like that. That's not true that we need to suffer all the time. And then see what's possible and what else can be done. And it's a choice as well. So what I'm saying is that it doesn't need to be done like this, but also if you are confronting yourself with a situation where you're not happy, or life doesn't make a lot of sense, or you don't know what you're doing, well, just have a look. There's always opportunities, and especially on people like me that had a lot of things. I'm I always had food. I could have education. I have friends. I have a very spoiled human. I could, and I'm very grateful for all of that. So basically, abundance is everywhere for in my life. I don't see it because you always want more, and you always see someone that has more than you, and that's a fantasy. It doesn't exist. It's not true. It's something that we learn to compare yourself with aspects of different people and feel inadequate or feel like you have less or feel like not good enough. You could be better or something. It's not true. None of that is true.
But it's oxygen for a lot of people that haven't understood the alternative.
No, and also,
What I mean by that is that, and we've talked a bit about this before, if you suddenly take away your identity of what you are and your job and everything else and you've got around you, the things that make up our life, then what's left if there isn't a solid base to stand on is probably a lot of discomfort, because it can be overwhelming to suddenly take that away, right?
yeah.
And I think the danger is that it can be romanticized, this midlife kind of, you know, quitting my job and, you know, I'm free and I'm living my life on purpose and on point, as being some sort of a, from the outside, so, oh, look at this guy, you know, the reality is something quite different.
Yes.
And that's what I'm referring to by that. The life force, the oxygen, is the identity that we for a long time I thought I was something based on external things. So forever chasing the next thing, right? For me, I was going to buy a second cafe or build a second cafe to expand my portfolio, my to increase my revenue for more, right? Because that equaled success for me. Yeah. So that's who I felt I was. And that gave me short-term hits of happiness. So I was breathing on that, surviving on that, right? And as we know, we those things are short-lived. So we then search for the next thing. So the process of letting that go and becoming and moving into something else with that was more felt incredibly freeing, but also very overwhelming at times. So I want to really highlight that without romanticizing this. And it's tough, man.
Yeah.
You know, and I can hear what you're saying, and I can hear the sense of freedom in your voice, but I want some honesty there. Like, it's not easy, Diego, is it? You know, like you didn't just arrive here with this It's gotta be. It has to have been tough at some stage.
Oh, imagine telling my ex-wife for 24 years that I needed to have this, I needed to change, and I needed to look after myself, and I couldn't do it in the relationship. I imagine telling my kids about that, and imagine quitting my job after 15 years before for the first time, where I wasn't a specialist. I know the stuff that I was doing, and I quit to become not a specialist, not knowing what I was doing anymore, not getting paid. And then imagine my telling myself that I can't continue with my habits and changing all my habits, as many as I could. There's a lot of work of recognizing what is not working anymore and what are you actually authentically living, and what are your choices. So
How was that experience for you? Tell me how.
oh, it was hard and but liberating at the end, but hard because you need to front up. Everything that many of the things that you've done in life start not making sense anymore, and you need to be friend of that, because you could feel that you're a failure, or it could feel like you lost all this time, and it could feel like many different things. In my case, it was liberating, and I end up also honoring everything that happened in my past as a great teacher. Everything that I learned, it is from my experience in life. And then I closed it. I closed and put it in a little box, and honor it, but it's not defining me anymore. So then I can continue life or living in this moment without being attached a lot to who I was or what I've done, or so. And that's a little bit of a beginning of freedom, when your past is not there anymore in your present.
And how did you manage that process?
Oh, it's a daily thing. It comes up every day in your thoughts. So, as I said many times, in my case, meditation, daily meditation is very important. Daily journaling, defining who I want to be every day is very important. Stopping during the day is very important to understand where I am. What is this thinking machine doing? Getting in contact with what I really like doing. And for example, this conversation with you is something that I really like doing. I'm not doing anything that with this conversation is so natural that I don't have to prepare. I don't have to be anything. This is who I am. So if you can do things in life that feels like that, life becomes a little bit different. The experience becomes a little bit different, right? As opposed to pretending that I'm doing these things because and I'm not feeling it.
Yeah, you said to me in an earlier conversation that when you start to live more intentionally and aligned, life starts to give back. What did you mean by that?
Oh, that I was saying that when it's not that I in the day I don't have anything to do. I have things that I believe that I have to do, or I want to do, or they come as a to-do list. But every day if it is not something that is not like life-threatening stuff, most of the things are not. I just do in the day what actually feels good for my day, for me, for my intuition on what to do that day. So I'm not forcing, and then I'm not forcing outcomes. So then when I do what it feels good to do on that day, it looks effortless and doesn't feel like work. Feels like this is exactly the right thing I have to do today. And and it keeps, and then life keeps turning into a very sort of enjoyable experience all the time. That allows you also to be open and listening to what's there for you. Who needs anything? Who wants to give you something? You're more present. And going back to the job that I quit, my job would not allow me to do that, will take me away from that. And then I start losing all the messages that come my way to be present because I'm not present anymore. I got a very tight schedule and then I'm flying. I'm disappeared from the world. I lose and miss connection with everything. So then I'm not connecting anymore. I cannot read anything. I cannot feel anything. And then I start forcing outcomes because, okay, today I'm a day off. I need to do all of these things. And then they don't feel good. And then that create unhappiness. They create discomfort. And that's how I lived most of my life before, just forcing outcomes.
Did you ever question the mindset that you were bringing to the work?
In what sense? When I was working? I mean,
the way that you were viewing, you just described viewing the activities in your day that were filling you up, yet you would go to work and then they would have the opposite effect.
what
Much of
happened?
that process was external and internal.
What happened in this particular job, the last job, in terms of mindset and who I was, it was actually I loved it. I really loved the mindset that I brought to my job and the listening and the accepting and all of I was in a great space. The only thing that and I connected very well with customers, with clients, with colleagues, with everyone. The only thing that I was missing is that I was disconnected from my original choices, all right? So I wasn't choosing much anymore. So I go to work, I have a good experience because I'm actually present and all of that. However, I'm not choosing anymore. This is what's being given to me. This is exactly what's being given to me in a form of a roster, of an operation, or an operation need. And then I adapted, I cover the hole that is needed there, and I accept it. However, it's not my choice anymore. So I couldn't, I choose who I want to be in that context, but the original choices that I've done about my life, they're not there anymore.
One might say a lot of jobs are like that, though, aren't they? I mean, they
Oh,
have
most of them, yeah.
a certain roster and a certain responsibility and not a lot of choice. How
Most, most of them, unless you create your own job or you are actually you create your own activity based on what lights you up and who you are in the world, which is probably what we're trying to achieve ourselves, all right? And that's actually what I'm trying to achieve. For me, it's something that for me life looks like different activities and different things that I could be involved with and not one specific one. So I'm trying to create something that looks like I'm doing 3 or 4 different activities, and the intensity of them will depend on my on how on my choices, all right, and why I'm choosing to put my energy here or there.
I quite like the concept of being able to diversify your income through several streams, or maybe that might look like several different jobs for some people.
Mm.
And maybe those jobs are different. Or if we not even call them jobs, we just call them activities that generate income.
Yeah, yeah, and also not necessarily they generate income. Sometimes they don't generate income, and I would say many times don't generate income. But look, at the moment, I can afford to do that, and I think I always will afford to do that. That's my challenge, because I always could, and the thing is, when I was working, actually, when I was working full time, and before actually, I had the feeling that money wasn't enough either as well. I always had the feeling that money is never enough, and I think that most of the people think that money is never enough.
You mean there's never enough money?
There's never enough money. You always need more. You always need something else. You always And so I didn't find that my situation now is very different from the situation when I was working and I was paying a very expensive mortgage and I had different lifestyle and I like restaurants and I like and all of that. It's a lot of money. So you never have enough. Or your trip or your there's never enough. And it wasn't never enough before, so nothing has changed in that aspect.
I liked what you said before when you said you become, when you trade a lot of that in and sacrifice a lot of that the old way, of, can we call it excess, having a lot of things, a lot of money, a lot of this, a lot of that. For me, uh, when you said presence, or you get to be more present in things, what I've learned or what I've noticed since moving into this new way of being or living with less is that I appreciate little things a lot more. When I had my wife, when I had the business, we used to go out for dinner every week at the end of the week. We used to spend, I don't know, $150. And I think I'd always walk away from that just feeling like, oh yeah, just another dinner. And maybe a sense of a hollowness or not really fully appreciating what had just happened. And now, over time of living without that and living with less, now the experience of actually going out for a meal or even a couple of drinks at a pub, which is sort of like a luxury for us now, it comes with a different weight, a different, when I say weight, like a different experience. The experience is different. I
Mm.
enjoy it a whole lot more. I'm more present to the experience, and I walk away feeling like it meant something. Before, maybe it was just transactional, a habit, just something we do. Now it's something that we look forward to, and
Yeah.
like a treat.
Yeah, Lloyd, and how about having time to cook or having time to share to cook with your wife or with whoever you choose in my case, and having time to cook and prepare your own food and create your own environment to eat. And I it's not that I discovered that, but now with more time, I actually can do that. Before I felt like all I wanted is to go and spend money on somebody serving me some food and spend money because I'm entitled of that because I'm working hard
Mm,
and I'm tired to
mm,
oh man. And so yeah, there's different ways. Even I don't do that much these days, but I used to do that more and I will go finding the food, all right, finding the right food or something that you really like or something that is comes from a very good source of all of that, having more time that allows you to do that and life gets interesting as well because it's not eating or it's not like a transaction anymore, it's just an activity, it's some part of your day, all right, if you like that. And this is an example with food, but it could be with anything else, all right? When you're curious and you got time and you can get into things that really lights you up or makes you that gives you a lot of happiness.
Do you think it would have ever been possible for you to, knowing what you know now, to live with more presence in an abundant lifestyle of?
I'm I 100% and I'm actually living it. And I tell you why, because as I always said, if I had $10 million, I will be doing exactly what I'm doing now. So I don't need that. I mean, in a way, I have $10 million if you want, because it doesn't matter if I have them or not. I will be doing this.
Mm,
And I believe that I will have the money to do what I need to do all the time. And it will, and I'm 100% sure. But 100%, not 60 or 70 or 80, 100.
amazing. So what's next in the chapter?
Just to put my energy in things that I like doing, and more present, and it's again, all back to connecting with myself again, and understanding myself, and what's that like. As you said that you want to do counseling and things like that, things came up. This is, to me, it's like, oh, you like the talking, you like that. I might get into public speaking or storytelling. Those are things that I don't consider myself a natural or anything, but things that I'm curious about. So yeah, that's one thing that is in the back of my mind, because I couple of exercises and that came up as something that I would probably interested in doing. And yeah, continue with the events, and yeah, theater play. There's some, I'm investing a little bit of money as well with a friend, and yeah, a little bit of everything, Lloyd. And but you getting in touch with myself on a daily basis is one of the things that I'm actually very very excited about, because since the end of May I lost that a little bit, which is nice, and you're doing the same. I know that you're doing the same, and great. It's great. It's great to see how things unfold, and we have been doing this for a little bit already, and lived through some constant transformation of our lives, and great to be a witness of that.
Yeah, it's great to be able to meet and have a fun to be able to discuss and share some of those experiences. Because I've learned a lot today just listening to your experiences and reflecting on my own. And I mean, it also reminds me of being a process, that we through these transitions all the time, right? And sometimes we're more aware of them than others.
And Lloyd, we can make decisions every day, every moment about anything, and that's also very present, because sometimes I used to believe that once you are into, you need to be there forever, and you cannot change things, and you can change things all the time, and you can make decisions all the time. Yeah, it's just a matter of in it, and once it feels good, just go for it. There's no, don't let your brain start speculating, making tactical arrangements, and giving you all those frights about the what ifs and things that we talked before.
Yeah, the what ifs.
Now it's what is said.
What is, yeah. A wise woman once told me that.
Yeah. We got that in an episode before, like one of the beginning episodes. Yeah, that's awesome, Lloyd.
Well, it was as always to chat and shoot the shit. So to speak.
And yeah, very nice chatting again, Lloyd, and you then see you next time.
Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to What No One Told Us. If anything in today's episode landed with you, stirred something, or made you feel seen, we are glad you're here. Lloyd and Diego are always open to connecting, and you'll find links to reach out, follow along, or learn more in the show notes. If you are enjoying the podcast, make sure you hit subscribe on Spotify and follow us on Instagram and Facebook to stay connected between episodes. Until next time, take care of yourself and each other.